Today I'm embracing a monochromatic colour scheme to make my Trinity video inspiration for this week. Hey crafty people, it's Tash here. Welcome back to my channel. If you like this video then please do give me a thumbs up, and if you aren't already subscribed then I would love it if you'd please consider hitting that button. I'm just going to jump straight in with a scrap of Neenah £80. It's around 5 inches by 7.5 inches, but to be honest the size doesn't really matter because I'm going to be cutting it down anyway. So this is the Slimline Layering Birch Tree Forest set of stencils. You get 3 stencils and you also get all of the masks for the individual trees, so there's a wide range of techniques that you can do with it. So before I start stenciling, I'm just going to add a little bit of light colour to the background. I'm using the Tranquility set of inks from Altenew, and I've just used the lightest one, number 1, for some background. So the stencils are all numbered so you know which way round to use them. So I've started with stencil number 1. I don't have pixie spray and can't get hold of pixie spray here, so I've just used a little bit of removable tape stuff on the back of the stencil to keep it in place. So for this first stencil I'm going to do this in the darkest ink because I sort of thought that the trees would be far away, so they'll be darkest. But to be honest, I'm not sure whether I did it the wrong way round. But I don't think it matters. I've seen it both ways and it looks gorgeous no matter which. So you do you. So now I've moved on to the second stencil. They're really easy to line up, and I'm doing this one in the third darkest, ink number 3 from that family of 4. I'm using a sponge tool just because that wouldn't normally be my preference. I do normally prefer the brushes, but because of the intricacies of some of this stencil, I decided that I was going to use the sponge because I can sort of like dab the ink through, which is really what I was doing on these more intricate bits. And when the stencil I'm about to put on now, that one is even more intricate, so if you are rubbing it with a brush there's a chance that you're going to move some of those little bits and you're not going to get a crisp image. So now I'm up to the third stencil with ink number 2 from the family, and I'm just continuing blending. You could blend these so that you've got not as much ink. Just, you could use one colour of ink and just add more on some stencils than you do the other, and that's going to give you a similar sort of look if you've not got these like family of ink matching inks. So I'm just finishing up this tree, and as you can see I'm like dabbing where those little branches are, either dabbing or just pulling in one direction. So I'm going to take that stencil off, and that is the layered look. I decided that I wanted to add a little bit more ink to the background, so I'm adding some of the lightest ink and I am just literally sweeping it all over, going over the trees. I'm not bothered about getting ink on them because it's all the same colour family. And then I'm going to add darker ink as you get towards the bottom of the forest, and I just think that looks really nice. I think it's really effective. This stencil set is beautiful and it's so easy. It's so easy to line up and so easy to actually do. So I'm just working my way through the inks, and I do end up using the darkest ink at the very bottom, and then each time I add a darker ink I just go back through the other ones, going up so that it's a gradual blend up to the top of the forest rather than it being quite a harsh one, rather it blending rather than it being harsh between the colours. That's what I was trying to say. Oh, it's been a day. Okay, so here I've added some of the darkest and I'm just working my way back through, as I said, and there is the finished forest. I absolutely love it. It is a Slimline stencil set, but I decided that I wanted to make an A2, so I'm going to trim this panel down with one of the dies from the Modern Embossed Layering die set. Again, I will have everything linked. I am so bad with names. So I decided that I was going to grab out, this is the background stamp from the last release. It's like encouraging words, something like that, I want to say. It's just basically text, but it's all just really encouraging and positive, like affirmations, and I love it. I think it's so good. So I've inked it up well and then put an A2 panel of Neenah £80 on it. I did put it on wonky, but it's okay. I love it. So I cut that with the largest of the Modern Embossed Layering set. I grabbed out the 2 stamps Autumn Greetings from one of the other new stamps from this release. Oh my goodness. And I've lined up the word greetings and I'm going to emboss it. So I have added some anti-static powder just because there was a lot of ink on there, so I wanted to make sure that the embossing powder wasn't going to stick to anything that I didn't want it to. So I stamped down the greetings, then I took that off and added the autumn. If you try to stamp them both together, because of obviously the stamp is bigger than the image or the word that you're actually putting, so if you do try to do them together, they're going to look really far apart and a bit unnatural, so it is much better to do one and then take that stamp off and do the other. So here is some embossing powder, designed by me, and I've just added that onto my sentiment. This is keeping with the blue tone, but it has got little tiny pops of gold just because that's fun. So I heat set my greeting, and because I've put so much ink on here and then done heat embossing, the panel was really warped. So I'm adding some really strong double-sided tape to the back of the whole panel, right the way down, and then I'm going to stick it onto some scrap card. So this is just some black card that I don't like because I just don't like it. It's from my stash, so I'm just gluing it on and then trimming right round it, right the way up. I don't want to see any of that black, and that's just going to help to smooth out that panel, so it's not looking so warped. Then I'm going to add liquid glue and stick that down onto my word panel. And I've grabbed out some of the lighter of the blue jewels. Again, they will be linked, I'm so sorry. And I'm just adding some of those around the greeting. So that's my card. I hope that you like it. I'm really happy with how it turned out. It's different for me. I've been going for a lot of rainbows and bright colours recently, so it was fun to take it back to just a basic monochromatic. If you like the video and you like the card, then give me a thumbs up and drop a comment in the box below, and I will get back to you as soon as I can. I hope that you have a lovely, happy, safe and wonderful week. Stay crafty. Consider subscribing. Bye.